Hey everyone, Scott here, and this is my Apple Watch Series 8. It's a watch I've been wearing non-stop for about 3 years. I hardly ever take it off, only for showers and charging. And it is the best Apple Watch that I have ever owned. It is strong, durable. Battery life, not so great, but everything else about it, most everything else about it is good. And that's what this video is about. I'm not gonna go over every feature. I'm just gonna tell you all the pros and cons of what it was like to live with this thing for almost 3 years. And I say that in the past tense like that is incorrect, because I'm actually still wearing this thing. I'm going on 3 years. I may actually go 4. This watch has been that good. So anyway, let's just get into the pros and cons. Maybe the thing that I like about this the most is the fact that it is so slim. This is the 45 millimeter version, and I have extremely thin wrists. I am a very thin guy. My wrists are puny, and you can see I've got it almost cranked all the way down here on my wrist. It's tight, but it is very low profile, and which is perfect for daily use. As I said, I wear this thing 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Actually, make that 23 hours a day. I take it off for shower time and charging, but other than that, this thing is on my wrist all the time, and it does not feel intrusive at all. Even when sleeping, it just stays out of the way. I have a Garmin watch that I wear that is just too big for daily wear, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. But this one I can wear, and it's very slim. It doesn't really snag on anything, which is very, very good. Another pro of the Apple Watch Series 8 is the fact that you can get it very stealthy, as I did here. This is actually dark blue. This is not black. And out here in daylight like this, it looks black. This is a black silicone wristband, by the way. Being dark makes it very inconspicuous. It is not a flashy watch. I travel a lot, sometimes to sketchy places, and the last thing you want to be doing is wearing flashy looking things, and the Apple Watch Series 8 is definitely not that. I like that quite a bit. A con about the Apple Watch Series 8 is battery life. Now, I can go a full day on the battery with this thing, and that's even including doing some fitness tracking, whether I'm walking or riding my bike. And I can end the day, or I can end my 24-hour cycle with about 30% left in the battery, which is really good. So, you know, that's not bad. It's so much better than the Apple Watch Series 5 that I had. So let's just say that. But I would like to have more battery life. My Garmin Epix Pro 2 or whatever it's called, I can go 16 days on that battery on a single charge, but this one I have to charge it every single day. So that's not a good thing. One of the things I really like about the Series 8 is the fact that it has the blood oxygen sensor here on the back. Newer versions of this watch here in the US do not have that sensor, and I can't get a focus on this thing because it's focusing on the band, but this is the reason why I hold on to this watch. It's not that I require monitoring my blood oxygen, but I just like having that. It's as an athlete, I'm on the bike all the time. I'm doing really long walks. I just like to keep track of that stuff. I'm a data nerd, and with the newer versions of this watch not having the blood oxygen sensor here in the US, it is the reason why maybe it is the key feature of the Series 8, which keeps me holding on to it. Another quick con would be screen brightness, at least out here in daylight. As you can see, it's not that bright. And I do realize that the screen or the watch face that I'm using isn't that bright to begin with, but overall, out here in direct sunlight, it's kind of hard to see. I have this brightness cranked up mostly to its highest setting. It is not all the way, but can't even hardly see that. So that is a con. I will say, though, that it's perfectly fine indoors in normal lighting conditions, whether you're in a grocery store, which is still kind of brightly lit, I guess. You can still see it. It's not an issue. It's only when you're outside like this, in the wilderness, under direct sunlight, that the screen is kind of hard to see. Another con of the Series 8, and I kind of hesitate saying this because it's more of a software issue, but the sleep tracking isn't all that good. And I'm only mentioning it because I think it might have something to do with the hardware and the way that the hardware interacts with the software. So maybe it's the two things working together, which makes it such a not a great experience. Basically what happens is that I'm in bed for usually 9 hours every night. And every morning, my watch tells me that I slept for 8 hours and 30 minutes every single morning. Whether or not I actually slept all that time or I was tossing and turning all night, it always says that I was asleep for 8.5 hours. Unlike my Garmin watch, which is actually a lot better for sleep tracking, it actually knows when I'm sleeping and when I'm not. So that is definitely a con of the Series 8. And I will say that it's also a pro because somehow, even though it doesn't know my nighttime sleep schedule that much, or it doesn't really track all that well at night, it knows when I take a nap in the afternoon. So for example, I can lay down for an hour and a half. I'll be awake for the first hour and a half of that, but I'll sleep for the second half. And then afterwards, I'll look at the sleep monitoring data, and it knows exactly when I fell asleep. It only records that second half. So somehow it knows when I take a nap, but it won't do it when I'm sleeping at night, overnight. So I don't know, that's definitely a con. Going back to what I was saying about durability, excuse all my my sweat and my grime and all the nastiness here on the back, but you can see that this thing is held up very, very well over the course of the past 3 years. If it'll focus here, it's kind of hard to focus because it's so glossy, but it is scratch-free as far as I can see. There are no dings or scuffs or scrapes or anywhere, nothing on the back of this other than the oils from my skin particles and grease and grime and that disgusting stuff, but it all works pretty well. This rotating dial is still good, still works. It is still firm and clicky. The buttons are still clicky. Nothing has deteriorated functionally on this watch. It all still works very well after 3 years. Another pro is the fact that it is very, very well water resistant. I don't swim with this thing. I don't wear it in the shower, but especially here in the summertime when I'm out here doing my walking or bike riding, I get very sweaty when I wear this thing. And afterwards, I run it under the faucet when I get back just to wash off all that grime and sweat. I do that almost every day, and I've never had an issue with water getting inside this thing, so that's a good thing. So overall, I just want to say that the Apple Watch Series 8, it has been my best Apple Watch so far. I started out with the Series 2, I went to the Series 5, and now I am still on the Series 8 after almost 3 years of daily wear. And this thing is so much better than all of those watches combined. Oh, I also want to say too that this is the GPS model only. This is not cellular, so I can't really say anything about the cellular connection, but Wi-Fi and GPS on this thing is excellent. I record my bike rides with this, and it's always extremely accurate. I can view the data both with Apple software, and then I also import it to Strava, and it gets everything. It is extremely accurate, so that is a very, very good thing. That is a pro by far. But yeah, as you're hearing me say, this is mostly good stuff. I have very few bad things to say about the Series 8. If you're thinking about getting one, or you want to get one for your kids, or you're just feeling nostalgic, you used to have one of these things and you want to hear somebody talk about it like I am, just know that this was a good watch. It is a good watch still in this day and age. And yeah, if you have any questions or comments, do leave them down below. I will get to them as soon as I can. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you in the next one.